gentlemen, we're back again. Last week, we had a topic about get out the way.
Boom! I had to throw that one in.
We all kind of got out the way and let John
man.
drive
You
that
guys going to
bus.
stop this shit now.
Oh, yeah.
Drove that bus.
We let the guy with the shades take us over.
Yeah, I did away with the shades this week because, you know,
That was
I didn't want Mike
covert,
getting startled because he looked over at me and saw his own reflection and it looked like he saw a ghost.
Well, that was a problem. We couldn't keep Mike from staring at you. I was starting to get scared.
I thought he was looking at me. He was looking at himself.
He looked like he's looking deep into those eyes.
Couldn't. The sunglasses were there.
Yeah. It's like that one night when right after you got married. Remember that? And you guys, you know, were in the hotel room and you lost all respect for your wife. Remember that? You remember that?
All respect for my wife.
Yeah, because, you know, you looked up and you looked in the mirror and you saw yourself and you thought, she's sleeping with this guy, and you lost all respect for her.
I was like, where's he going with this one? I was like, what have I told him about my marriage?
All respect.
Oh, my good night,
R-E-S-P-E-C-T.
Man.
Find out what it means to me.
Speaking of that, I need to do a honeymoon someday.
A honeymoon?
I never did one.
No.
You're a little
No.
late, Mike.
I had
Then
two,
again,
I had two young
always
kids.
late.
I had two of kids from a previous
Quit
marriage.
blaming the kids, Mike.
We
Quit
never
blaming
had
the kids.
time. We never had time.
Never had time. You got to make time,
All right.
man. You
Well,
gotta make
I'm at
time.
12 years now, so I'm thinking 15, 15 years is when we do it.
Boy, you were behind the 8 ball if you're thinking you didn't have time and it's 12 years later. Honeymoon's gone, baby. I hate to tell you, brother.
Dude.
Yes, sir.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
12 years, Mike. 12.
Lots of alcohol will take care of a lot of things.
It'll numb everything, won't it?
Everything.
That's what Marnie thought.
Works for me.
She thought when she
Marnie's
married
been
her,
trying for
yeah.
12 years.
Yeah, 12 years. She just can't drink enough.
Man.
So White Claws go down like
Oh, yeah.
soda.
Yeah, like soda, huh?
You would be drinking
No, I'm
White
not
Claw.
drinking White Claws.
Yeah,
I
Mikey's
drink
over there
Captain.
drinking White Claws,
No,
guy.
wife drinks White Claw.
You want an umbrella with that White Claw, buddy, huh?
Oh,
Dude,
man.
I'm sorry, but I was at a party and I saw a guy drinking a White Claw, and I lost all respect for that man.
I mean, yeah, you.
I didn't even know who he was, but I'm like, I'm not gonna talk to this dude. I
Yeah.
can't. I can't talk to women at this party. I'll get in trouble.
That was a good one right there, Mikey.
Wow, he just whoa,
He come up with something.
Pull that one right out of your ass on that one, didn't you, Mike?
Well, you know,
Try
just to tie this one into last week's, you know, I'm gonna use a little line of "get out the way." You better tell them damn kids to get out the way so you can go do a honeymoon,
no
son.
kidding,
Oh,
boy.
yeah, tell me about it.
But man, so this week, man, what we're gonna be talking about this week now is your heart and your money.
Ooh, show me the money, honey.
That's
show me the money.
right. You show me your
Good
heart. Now,
topic.
you show me your heart. Now you show me your treasures or your money, and I'll show you where your heart lies.
You damn right, boy. You damn right.
It goes hand in hand,
Yep.
without a doubt.
Yes, it absolutely does.
So, one of the main topics about is nowadays we're seeing a lot of relationships where they're willing to share their heart, share their bed, hell, even share their home half the time, but you ain't touching my money.
Well, I'm going to tell you something.
Or my truck.
If you ain't sharing your money, you ain't sharing your heart. So,
Or your truck.
yeah, or your truck, yeah.
But John, I made that money. I worked hard, and that's my money.
Yeah, mine. I like that.
That's
Mine.
That's the mindset,
No, that's
man.
the mindset of this world right
It's
now.
my
man.
truck.
It's sad.
But
Pathetic.
it is. But the whole thing is too is how can you really share your heart, but be so restrictive with your money? I mean, you would think your heart means more to you than your money does.
Bro, that's a huge contradiction. I mean, you can't say that I trust you with the most valuable thing I have in this world, which is my heart. But I can't trust you with money.
yeah. My $1,000 I got in my savings account.
I mean, that is the most ridiculous. But we live in a culture today, man, where we talked about it last week. It's all about that
Gotta
bag.
look out for number one.
Yeah, you know, I honestly think they're not sharing their hearts nowadays. We kind of touched on it last week. They're just sharing their bed.
Yep.
That's it.
They're playing house.
Tang tang.
Playing
Yeah.
house.
And the whole show me your treasures, I'll show you where your heart lies. That if you truly care about that person, I guarantee you'll share that money.
I mean, if that's the case, I'm madly in love with McDonald's. We got something special going on.
Oh man, that McRib,
Yeah, baby.
Chipotle for me,
Yeah,
man.
Chipotle.
I love me. some
that
Chipotle.
McRib.
What have you done for me lately?
Son, I love that McRib. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh man,
Chemical romance.
Chemical romance.
But you're right. I mean, they say that all the time. When you start looking at, when you're looking at your finances or whatever it may be, and you're trying to dissect where you're at, they say, if you want to know what you're all about, look what you spend your money on.
Right.
Look who you spend your money on. Right. So that's what we mean when we're saying that, you show me your heart, show me your money, I'll show you your heart. What I mean? Because if you're selfish with your money, you selfish.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's pretty simple.
Yep. True.
Yeah, but bam, mic drop. I mean, that's really. I mean,
selfish,
it's that simple. It really, really is. I just don't know how.
I think it's a trust thing, and I think part of it too, Ray, is that when we get in these relationships, a lot of these relationships people getting into now, they're not the first time around. It's not a pure one time around. This is my first time. Being in a relationship and having this situation. So you got a lot of mixed families. You've got a lot of broken relationships. There's a lot of trust issues there, and so people get real comfortable, I think, with the idea of this is mine. This is what I'm going to take care of, and what I'm in control of. And I'll love you and spend time with you or whatever. But this here, you're not touching this. This closet in my house to you is absolutely closed. Don't bother opening this door. It's got a padlock on it, and only I have
The key.
the key.
I'm not going to give it to you.
Or it's the other way around. Like I remember talking to my wife about her past relationship, and she talked about how it was like, he got this, so I'm gonna get this, or I got this, so he felt like he's got to get
tit
this.
for tat.
Tit for tat. It's like, he got this car, well, I'm gonna go get this, or she got this, I'm gonna go get this motorcycle. You know what I mean? It's like, no, it's not how it works. It's like it's combined money. I mean, I know families back home that have been married for years that still have their own separate bank accounts, and they explain it as like, she makes hers, I make mine, and she pays this a bill, I pay this bill. I'm like, how is that a marriage? Like, you're not working together.
That's an arrangement.
I don't get it. It's weird. I don't get it.
You're
That's
not
a contractual arrangement.
Yeah, you're not being a man.
No.
You're not being a man, because being a man is being selfless.
Yeah.
And when you're worried about, well, she got this, so I'm going to go get that, that's not being selfless.
Yeah, you're a boy, man.
Yeah, you're just, what was that? Boy with a beard.
Yeah,
Boy with a
Boy with a
beard.
beard, son.
Boy with a beard.
Someone can't even grow one of those. You know what I'm saying?
I can only grow it on my chin.
Yeah.
Can't even grow it on my head.
Jingle, jangle, jingle. Here comes old Kris Kringle. Santa, is that you? Hermes a dentist.
I want to be a dentist.
Back at Christmas?
Well, I mean, look,
Well, it's January.
Look at Ray's beard. You look at it, you think, let it snow, let it snow. You got more tinsel on that than a Christmas tree.
Well, weather outside is frightful.
This is our Valentine's episode.
Love you,
Why are we
bro.
talking Christmas?
Valentine. Well,
Valentine's Day.
boy.
there's something going on here with Demena, because he's talking about honeymoons and, kids getting out the way. Now it's Valentine's Day. Ooh, we got some romance clicking over here, brother, or what?
Does that mean I get some?
I don't know. Not
That's
with
up
me.
to you.
They ain't enough big enough steak on this planet for you to get anything from me, brother. I can tell you.
When you have as many kids as I have,
I
it's
don't care
tough
how
to
many
get that
freaking
time.
McDoubles you're trying to coax me with.
When it comes to, like you said, money and heart, I think guys, as a guy, we tend to think that our money is our heart, and that's what we're giving our partner.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was growing up, my dad was never home. He traveled a ton. So I decided that when I grew up and I got married and I was going to be in a relationship, that I was going to focus on that relationship with my wife, my kids, whoever that may be at the time, and less on money.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very challenging thing to do, but you have to be very intentional about it. So if you're equally sharing your money and your heart, things tend to work out a whole lot better.
True.
But you have to die to yourself. You can't be selfish about it.
Well, and it takes two to it takes two to tango, right?
Yeah.
I don't get Mike all riled up. Tango and Valentine's. And,
He's already getting excited.
Honeymoon.
Oh, yeah.
But
She's going to get
it takes two to tango. So, the biggest thing we talk about is the trust issue, right? So if you can't trust your spouse, that's a problem.
It's a huge
I mean,
problem.
especially if you can't trust your spouse with money.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say something out there to the men and the women listening to this podcast. You can steal from your spouse.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And make no mistake about it. If you're taking money and buying things or spending money on things that you're not sharing with your spouse or communicating with your spouse, you stealing.
Stashing money.
Oh, yeah, you stealing. And that goes for the dudes right there, right?
Oh, yeah.
You called yours what kind of money? Mad money?
My mad money.
I got the fun money, right?
Yeah.
But I said earlier, my wife has all the fun with the money, so I don't know why that's why I call it fun money. I laugh because it ain't going to be mine much longer, I can tell you that.
And my wife knows about my mad money.
Right.
And at any point in time, if we need it, something for the family, take it, grab it.
Yeah,
It's all
because your
there.
wife's motto is don't get mad. It's my money. Mine's like, yeah, fun money. Yeah, it's real fun. You thought it was yours, but it's not. Joke's on you, boy.
That reminds me when we were first married. Sarah didn't work when we first got married, and she'd spend my money. No
money.
problem.
Uh-huh.
Well, she gets a job and she starts making some money, and she tells me, she goes, the first thing I'm gonna do with my check is I'm going to go shopping with my money. I said, what do you mean my money? I said, you've been telling me for the last year that it's our money.
Yeah.
She goes, yeah, what's yours is mine and what's mine is mine.
Yeah.
It's my money.
No. That's some bullshit they done taught these young women. That ain't how it works.
And that ain't it.
Yeah.
But you can steal from your spouse, like you were saying. It's whether you hide the money, whether you're spending the money on something that you shouldn't be spending it on.
Well, concealing is lying.
Yes.
Let's just get that out there. If you're concealing it, you're lying.
Right.
You're lying to your spouse. Yeah, I had a guy that I worked with years ago, and he'd come in and he was always talking about how his wife would only give him $20 a week for allowance for lunch. And you start peeling back the onion, and you realize the reason why is because this dude, like to show up with motorcycles and trucks and Sea-Doos and everything else without communicating. So the wife had to put him on a budget and control the money because he kept blowing it all, right?
Yeah. Right.
So, I mean, it's like, you conceal it, you hide it, you misappropriate it, you stealing and you lying. And you shouldn't be stealing and lying from your spouse.
Yeah. And
or
now,
your boyfriend or girlfriend, for that matter.
Yes.
You're in a committed relationship. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we got to include that because nowadays marriage is a second thought, not a first. But I know one of my coworkers, he and his wife, separate bank accounts, separate everything. He was telling me he pays for bop, 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 bop. She pays for bop, 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 bop. And I asked him, I'm like, why? Why don't you both pay for it all? Mm-hmm. He's like, oh no, it's just we've always done it that way. And he's younger. He's I think he's just now turned 30.
Yeah.
So apparently it's a generational thing.
Oh yeah. It's definitely this younger generation. They're like, you got yours, I got mine, and we'll share on some expenses. But at the end of the day, this is my money, because we live in a selfish culture.
Right.
It's all about me.
That's exactly what I was thinking too. It's not just it's me, now.
Yeah. So it ain't about you. It's like, if I want to buy me this or get me that or do this or do that, I can, and you can't say shit about it because it's my money.
Right. And the whole thing is that's what my mad money's for.
Yeah.
That's exactly what my mad money's for.
So is my fun money. Yep.
Yep.
My fun money always end up taking everybody out to dinner.
Not so funny.
Hey,
not so funny, is
You're
it?
selfless.
Hey,
John.
you can't tell me you didn't eat with that money.
Oh, yeah. We'll start out, okay?
Don't worry,
What have you
John.
been talking to my wife, dude? That's exactly. It's not like you didn't eat.
We're starting our gym next week, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Oh,
If you can handle it. I mean, I've only been waiting 2 weeks for you. Don't even try that shit on air.
Hey,
Trying to act like I'm holding you up.
you're holding me up. I've been waiting all this time, and
Yeah,
I'm like,
okay.
why isn't John? Why are we doing this thing? It's
Hey,
Jan-
I'm
gonna go- I'm going
past
to-
January.
You gonna have
now.
your trainer down there, Mike?
I'm going on the Main and Mike training program.
Uh-oh.
Lightweight, a lot of repetitions.
You got to do at least 40. If you don't do 40, you're done.
John, you should have just stopped at lightweight.
Yeah,
This is lightweight.
yeah.
Every
okay.
3 reps
I'm
you
the
get
only
a
one.
break.
I'm the only one that's lightweight.
Oh, yeah?
What?
Well, going back to what we're talking about.
Yeah.
The funny thing about money is you can always make more.
Yeah.
There's always ways to make more money.
Yeah.
But let me just tell you this: it's not easy to find the right person.
Bingo.
There's only so many diamonds in that rough, dude.
That
There's
is
only
true.
so many people that are good for you. And it's unfortunate that we live in a culture where so many relationships and so many marriages are destroyed because of money.
Yeah.
I mean, did you looked it up earlier?
Yeah.
What's the divorce rate?
Divorce rate?
Yeah.
Oh man, I didn't look at that.
Wasn't it like
52% or something like
52%
that.
of the divorces are because of money?
Oh yeah. That was from our That was a while ago.
So
yeah.
52% of people's relationships are
due
over
to finance. Yeah, due to
finances.
finances, because that's the number one thing that causes the stress. That because you're what you're worrying about. Okay, So what are you spending your money on? Oh, you're spending your money on this. And then and then also, I mean, there's a lot of things my wife wants to do that I'm like, we can't financially do it.
And there's a lot of things
you
you
gotta say
want to
no.
do.
And
Let's
you gotta
keep it on the real
Oh,
here.
yeah. Oh, of
Let's
course.
keep it on the real.
Of course.
You want to talk about trust with finances? I'm going to get real. We had, the kids were young. So this was probably 10 years ago. And every other month, we had to pull from our savings account to pay for the mortgage. I'm trying to figure out what the heck's going on. I'm like, what in the hell is going on? And every time I bring up finances, man, my wife would jump down my throat. Oh, no, you're the one. You. And I'm like, man.
Oh, shit, he's going to get himself in the shitter right now. Get ready.
No, I tell this all the time. So I go to my dad. I call him and I'm like, Dad, man, this is going on, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And he looks at me. I said, what do I do? He goes, son, until she sees it, there's nothing you can say. Mm-hmm. I'm like, well, when the hell do I say something when I'm flat ass broke? He goes, if that's what it takes. Mm-hmm. So you want to talk about trusting that it's gonna come up. And I'll never forget, we were in our bedroom. I was actually folding laundry and talking to her, and she's like, yeah, well, I got the girls this, and I bought that, and I bought this, and I bought that, and I got this. And then she goes quiet, and she's behind me. It goes quiet, and I'm like, what's going on? And I turn around, and she's crying. I'm like, what are you crying about?
You're like, I didn't even jump your ass yet.
She goes, I just realized that what I'm doing is the problem. Nickel and dime, 5 here, 10 there, 5 there, 10 there. But it took a lot of trust as a guy to sit back and go, it'll click. It'll click.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because at my house, it's the opposite. Like, Candy's a nickel and dimer, and I'm the big purchaser. Like,
Same here.
I won't nickel and dime, but like when I want to do something, like it's like get new floors for the house, or it's something like that that's going to be a huge investment. You know what I mean? It's going to cost a lot of money. But one of the things you were talking about, Mike, and I think is we brought up a few times here is the culture and the new generational thing. So there's some statistics that talk about the upcoming generations of where they're at when it comes to dividing or sharing or splitting their money. So
we were talking about split bank accounts and how many people actually have them. So based on what I was able to pull, that 45% of all millennials don't share any bank accounts, compared to Gen Xers, which is pretty much like us, right? That's 20%, and then baby boomers had 14% have split bank accounts.
No, don't.
No. Well, yeah, sorry, don't have.
Don't.
No, it's
don't
actually
split.
No, 14%.
So 86% do.
Correct.
Right.
Baby boomers, yes.
Right.
Baby boomers, they do combine their accounts because that was the old-fashioned.
So we've gone
Right.
from 86% to 80% now to 55%.
55%, yeah, of people.
There's
that
a
have
move
combined
here.
accounts.
Yeah.
There's a move here when it comes to money, and that's the problem with the culture we live in. Everything's about that bag, right? I've brought it up last podcast. I'll bring it up again. It's about money, and people trying to hold on to theirs. And you know what? It's not going to work in a relationship. No. It's not. And there are people that'll email or message us or whatever and go, "Oh, I'm doing it's working in our relationship." I promise you, if you're in a relationship with somebody and you're not sharing your money, there's going to be some underlying problems because there's definitely trust issues there, and where that lies is going to be other things that are involved there. You know what I'm saying? Like people are going to have problems with it.
Without a doubt.
Because you're looking at your spouse basically saying to them, I don't trust you with my money.
Mm-hmm. I don't trust you to make wise decisions.
Yeah, I don't trust that you're not going to conceal things from me, that you're not going to steal from me. And,
there's bigger issues. Bigger.
Let's be honest, though. And in some relationship, this shit happens.
It does.
You get somebody out there that's very trusting, like, God, I get direct deposit. I always joke around and say because it hurts less because if you don't see it, you don't touch it.
You don't realize.
Exactly.
So I put a 100% trust in my spouse.
Right.
I put all the money that I earn, and I've always said it's her money and my money, right? Mm-hmm. Put it all in one pot.
Yep.
And I have 100% trust that she's going to make wise decisions, and she's not going to steal from me. She's not going to conceal stuff from me. There are things that happen. I mean, I don't need to have every little detail about every little trip to Dunkin' Donuts or whatever. I don't give a shit about all that. But, if you're going to go out and buy something that costs a significant amount of money, you better be having a conversation with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But, there are some people that do that, and they get burnt.
Yeah.
they get burnt, and they're listening to this and they're going, dude, you have no idea. I've gotten screwed on this deal.
Yeah.
And and all I can tell you is you hooked up with the wrong person. That person had a character defect greater than what you're dealing with now. There's something deeper there, or something else. There should have been some telltale signs that you couldn't trust this person. You know what I mean?
The biggest thing is communication. Like John said, like when it comes to anything is purchased, communicate with them. Let them know what they're doing, what they're spending the money on. Because with my family, it's we make, she's a nurse, I'm a data analyst, and so we have pretty equal income coming in, just the way everything works out. And so it is our income. But the kids also like, hey, I want this, I want this. I'm like, sometimes you got to say no, because when I was a kid, I was never told no. So I'm trying to get better. I know you can tell. You can tell. So when it comes to that stuff, it's just a matter of communication. If you're not communicating, that's when the relationship will fall.
And and some people shut down when it comes to that communication.
Trust me, I know that.
My wife's not the type that wants to talk about finances. No. Last thing she wants to talk about. But that's just because it's just not something she wants to really deal with. You know what I mean? It's not that she's concealing something or hiding something or stealing from me. It's just she don't want to get into the nuts and bolts of it. You know what I mean?
It can be a buzzkill.
Oh, yeah, it's a buzzkill.
Well, see, me and my wife, we're the exact opposite. That's what keeps us communicating is our budget. We do a budget regularly. And that's
proud of you for that, man. I'm still working on that.
And that's what keeps us communicating. And that if you can talk about money, you can talk about anything.
True.
Well, think about it. What does money really represent? It represents independence, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And people feel like if they're giving up their money, they're giving up their independence. And they don't want to do that. They're saying, I'm putting all of myself here and I'm dependent upon somebody else to make decisions that can impact me. Whereas my independence is fully in these finances. I can buy my own stuff. I can do my own things. I'm fully self-sufficient.
Yeah.
Well, I hate to tell you, but when you decide to become married or join in a relationship, it's not about just you anymore. It's about the two of you becoming one.
Yeah.
Not two separate people.
Here's what. Go ahead. Go
Well,
ahead.
I got to be straight up with you. I have a situation where I've concealed money because I got two grown-ass kids at home that work jobs, or at least should be, and they should be feeding themselves.
Right.
But, Mama's going to pick up every time we go out to eat. She's got to bring back food for somebody. And
I go through it too, bro.
And that irks me, dude. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I'm tired of financing that. And
Right.
I hold the money back because if I put it in the pot, it's going to get spent like that.
Well, that's a good perspective.
Yeah.
That's a good perspective, and I'm glad that you
And
brought that up.
I'm not trying to justify it. I'm just telling you the truth, the
Sometimes-
reality of it.
Right.
Well, and you make a good point because I think that there's a breakdown somewhere else. It's not really about the money, really. It's about the problem with the
Sheltering the kids is what it is.
And it seeps into those things, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it gets a little more technical. So
Yes.
we're kind of touching on the surface, but one of the things that I was thinking about, and it kind of goes along with what you just said, is so you're in a relationship, you're living in the same house, but you've got completely separate bank accounts, right? Are you going to let your wife fail? Are you going to look back at her? Are you going to let her get her car repoed? Are you going to let her, credit card get expired? Are you going to have, what are you going to do in that situation? It's a good question for, what is it? The millennials out there. Are you just going to sit back and go, man, that sucks for you. I'm going to go buy me a jet ski.
Well, I think at the end of the day,
You know?
it goes back to what Freddie was saying, right? Freddie. But I think he makes a valid point because if there are lessons to be taught and lessons to be learned, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if the communication is there and you've had those conversations and there's not any change in that behavior, sometimes, unfortunately, you have to let them suffer a little of the consequences that come with it. It's like I've got a family member right now where they're in a relationship and they split their money. But I also know that one of them, and I'm not going to get which one it is, one of the two of them is not responsible with money, spends money left and right, and you can't, then they haven't proven to be trustworthy.
Right.
And that goes back to, maybe the other part of it too is maybe understanding strengths and weaknesses. Maybe there are some people,
Bingo.
they can't be trusted. They can't trust themselves. They got a spending problem or an addiction.
Right.
That's something entirely different. What we're trying to hit on is saying these people that want to hang on to theirs. It's about me, the selfish. I'm taking care of me. Because that's what's coming up with this new culture, with these kids that are coming up.
Well, I got to be honest. I think I adopted that attitude.
Yeah.
Because this is my money.
Right.
And damn if I'm going to let her blow it on food for somebody that could get it themselves.
Yeah.
And I love my kids. That's not the issue. The issue's deeper than that.
Well, they're not
obviously,
kids, they're
but
adults.
I think there's a lot of Americans that are dealing with the same problem that I am.
yeah.
The kids can't make it, and so they leave. They come home. They leave. They come home, and they treat home as this
Revolving
safe
door.
haven, the safety net.
Yeah.
And they never
Back
have
when
to
they were 10
launch.
years-
Well, it's
Yeah.
not a fact that they can't make it. They choose not to.
Correct.
They're not willing to put in the work to make it happen because it's easier to do it at home.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. So-
Well, the thing is failure cannot be an option. If you're going to make it, failure is not an option. You're going to do whatever it takes. You're going to work 3 damn jobs. You're going to do whatever it takes. But as long as you know there's a soft landing, this didn't work out.
Well, and the other part of it too is not really knowing whether you really are in that relationship, right?
Yeah.
And this is what we're talking about. There's a difference between being married and being in a serious relationship and just dating somebody, right?
Yeah.
So this isn't about you're dating somebody. You should share your money with that person. That's not what we're saying. And we're not even saying to me, maybe going back, thinking about what was just been said, you got to be able to pull back and think about it from all different perspectives. And I'm glad that was brought up. I mean, if you're in a certain situation, I mean, situations are going to warrant the way that things are walked out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I think, but as a whole, it's about trust, right?
Yes.
You got to be able to trust your spouse or your significant other when it comes to your money. If you say you trust them with your heart, you should be able to trust them with your money.
Right.
Now, and I'm talking about, the fear factor. Like, I'm afraid that this relationship's going to end and they're going to take my money. They're going to misappropriate my funds or whatever. I think every man that's involved with any kind of woman that has children, there's always an issue there because Mama Bear comes out and she wants to take care of them cubs. And I deal with it. Hey, I'm not even in a mixed family. I've got 2 adult children, and my wife would be like, well, should we bring this back for them? It's always like that, right?
Yeah.
And no matter how much you say, damn it, they're going to pay for their own shit, you still find yourself picking up the tab.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I get it. But we're learning, too, now to go by ourselves and not bother to invite people anymore.
Right.
Smart.
And don't tell them don't tell the kids where you're going.
But at the end of the day,
truth.
it's not about this is mine. That's an immature, childish mentality. The first thing most children learn is mine.
Mine.
Yep.
That's mine.
Yep.
So that's the first sign of immaturity. So if you're going to get caught up in what you think is yours, that's a problem. Money's a tricky subject, and every single one of us looks at it from a multitude of different perspectives, right? We all
you
have
ain't
different
lying.
situations. We're all in different family dynamics. We all have past experiences, and not everybody's relationship is the same. I get that.
Yep.
But the basic premise of this conversation is that if you're in a situation where you off the rip don't feel like you could trust somebody with your money, you shouldn't be trusting with your heart. I mean, and so, and we got to understand, too, that when we talk about things like baggage, we bring baggage into relationships. And sometimes that's unhealthy, too, because there's a trust issue there. And you shouldn't not trust a person because of what another person did.
True.
Right. Well, you're talking about baggage, and we're talking about finances. What about debt? Student loan debt,
Oh yeah.
credit card
That
debt,
sucks.
so on and so forth. Now, in my eyes, when you marry that person,
You take on their debt.
you take
Yep.
it on.
Oh yeah. I took on that debt when she became a nurse.
Yeah.
We
So-
have that debt. We have kids' debt. We have
There
my
ain't no
debt.
she.
That's
it's
what my
we.
wife's doing now, brother. So I
you
get
get
it.
it. You
I
get
get
it.
it. Totally get it.
There ain't no she. It's we.
It's we.
But it makes me wonder, this next generation coming up, the millennials and stuff, are they holding off marriage until debt is paid? I've actually heard that. I've heard that a couple times where, look, you know what? Not until she gets this paid off, we're not going to get married.
I think that the reason they're holding off, quite honestly, is because they've been lied to. They have this misconception that if they're going to be giving up so much to get this.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they want we talked about it in the last podcast, where they want to be able to run the roads, live the life, do the dream, all these different things, and every one of us has gone through it through our during our youth. I get it, but the problem is the window's been pushed back even further.
Yeah.
So now they're not even thinking about marriage to their mid to late 30s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whereas we were looking at marriage in our mid to late 20s.
Right.
Even early 20s.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how old were you when you got married, Mike?
For me, it was actually late 20s, 29.
29. I was 23.
23.
23.
Yeah, 22.
22. So,
Yeah.
I mean, look at it. We were all in our 20s. This generation is coming behind us. They're looking at their
10 years.
Yeah.
Another 10 years.
And so they can live their best life. But the problem is, you know, these young girls, when they're in their mid to late 30s, it's hard to have babies.
Mm-hmm.
What is your best life?
Yeah.
When you really think about it, you're basically saying I can put a dollar amount on my best life. Because what we've come to learn, and this is some of the wisdom we want to share with everybody, is that whatever you have, whatever you buy, whatever you acquire, don't mean shit.
Yeah.
You end up with nothing. I ain't never seen a U-Haul trailer pull behind a hearse.
Never.
Never. So all of that is fleeting.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think people are getting married later because the sanctity of marriage is gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like they're just gonna why buy
Yeah,
the
what's the
cow
use?
when you
Yeah,
can have
I agree.
milk for free.
Why buy the cow when you get the milk for free? Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, they're getting they're playing house, so what difference does it make?
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know?
true.
So
That's a whole nother show.
yes, it is.
Oh, don't worry, we'll do that one.
They get the
that'd be-
tang
that's
without
coming up. Why buy the cow when you get the milk for free? That's
Right.
going to be our.
Yeah,
that'll be
man,
one
they
of our
get the
tags.
tang tang without the wallet.
Yeah, and a wang wang.
We'll label that show Murr.
So John,
Yeah,
I
call it the
know
tang
it's
tang.
I know it's getting later. I want to bring up our social media. I want to bring up our emails because you talked about people reaching out
Oh,
to us.
yeah.
So
Follow.
I might as well hit that up. All right. So our email is are you ready?
Are we
Duck.
ready?
Sorry,
Are we ready?
Are we ready? Sorry.
Oh, come on,
War,
Mike.
man, I
yeah,
can't-
Mike.
You know, cut that out, Fritz. Let's start over again. Are we ready? War.
Here's Mike with the social
go.
media report.
All right, this time I'm not gonna screw it up. Wow, I almost used the F-bomb again. All right, here we go. Are we ready? Duck. And so, are we ready? Yeah, at duck.com. So we're gonna do that one as well as our Twitter, which is Are We Ready? We have a Truth Social. We have Instagram. We have Facebook. It's Are We Ready War. You'll find them all if you just type in War. Are We Ready? So. And
Yeah,
that's it.
come check us out.
Come check us out. We're
Tell us how
trying
much,
to get back.
Tell
on
us how
social
bad
media.
we are. We'd love to hear from you.
Like us, follow us.
Don't like us, whatever. You know, we
Right.
want to hear from you.
Well, like us so that you can tell us
if
you don't like us.
yeah, like us.
And make fun of the Maynard for saying our words wrong. I do it all the time.
Why would
That's
they do
who I
that?
am.
Ray and I will handle
That's
that.
true.
Yeah, we got that covered.
We'll take our
You
job.
got that. You're right.
Yeah.
Are we ready?
So I think as we wrap this thing up tonight and we kind of close this thing off, you know, there's an old saying: "Show me your treasure, I'll show you where your treasure is. I'll show you where your heart is also." Right? And we mentioned that tonight. So I guess the question you got to ask yourself is your money tied to your heart? And is your money more valuable to you than your heart? Because I'm going to tell you something. If you're going into relationships thinking that, you are never going to have any substance in your relationship. I'm going to tell you right now. And I'm going to tell you something else. People going to piss you off. They're going to screw up. They're going to mess up. It happens. That's relationships, right? You know, there have been times I've screwed up financially in my relationship, and my wife has made mistakes financially in our relationship. But you know what? At the end of the day, we still love each other. We don't stop loving each other because of money, right? So, I mean, you got to ask yourself, I mean, if you're getting into a long-term committed relationship with somebody and you're starting off for the first time, you got to ask yourself, you know, where's my heart in all this? You know, is it about me? Is it about mine? Is it about that bag? You know, we keep talking about that. I keep repeating that because to me it's so ridiculous that we have this mentality, that we would even think that way. You can always make money, but you can never remake your heart. You can't repair certain wounds as that's going to bring. If you're in a relationship right now and maybe you guys are having some financial problems, then the best advice I could give you is just sit down and communicate. Have a conversation. Put the cards on the table and cut through all the bullshit, you know? And be transparent, be honest with one another. Take ownership. There are things that I do financially that I need to be better. There are things that my wife does financially she needs to be better. And there's things we do together that we could be better, right? Obviously, by looking at me, you can tell we eat out a lot. That's okay, though. But, you know, we know where the money's going. Nobody's sitting there wondering who's stealing the money. I mean, and, you know, and hiding out at Burger King. I mean, guilty as charged, you know what I'm saying? But all joking aside, you know, you got to have those tough conversations. And you know what? If you're all about you, that's what you're going to end up with. At the end of the day, you're going to end up with you, and you're going to end up alone. So my suggestion to you is get past yourself and realize it's bigger than you. So I just hope that this podcast helped you out tonight, that some of the things that we discussed can make you invoke some thought. And we'd love to hear back from you. We'd like to hear what you have to say about what we're having to say. Hey, and if we pissed you off, sorry, but we're probably going to piss you off again. That's what we do. Okay, so, but we'd love for you to piss us off, so hit us up. And I promise you that as we continue to move forward and we start diving deeper into these conversations and these topics, we're going to be able to peel back the onion, and our hope and our prayers that we're going to be able to expose things that we can at least invoke thought and dialogue and conversation. Because that, my friends, that's where the rubber meets the road.